What's up, guys? It's Halloween. It's Thursday, the 31st of October, 2024. It's 11:45 a.m. here in Germany, and this is the next episode, the third episode of What's Your Representative Voting For? And this time, I'm going to highlight a representative named Burgess Owens, and he's from Utah. He's a Republican. And he introduced last year. Now, remember this, how long this shit takes. You know what I'm saying? Which is amazing, that it takes this long. I mean, I guess if something's shot down right away and they try to pick it back up a year later or something, I get that. But this has now passed the House a year later after Representative Owens put the bill up for debate. It is now passed the House, so it's going to go to the Senate. And it started off as the End Woke Higher Education Act, which is fantastic. I love that title because it actually hit home the point. You know what I'm saying? It's actually a title that describes what the bill or what the meaning of the legislation they want to pass actually is. And it's also pretty short. I'll put the link down below so you can look at it yourself. But basically what it's going to do, if it gets passed into law, which we might not know for another 2 years at this rate, but hey, this is the kind of stuff that those people are elected to do, right? So we all know that colleges, especially some of the most prominent ones, have a big woke problem on campus. Basically, the students run the show instead of the teachers and the administration running the show. The administration is terrified of these lunatic students, and the parents are paying for this insanity to go on. And in order to an Institute of Higher Education, what the bill wants to do is make an Institute of Higher Education, make it so that they're not allowed, when it comes to accreditation or acceptance into the schools, they're not allowed to discount somebody or mark somebody negatively based on their political ideology. They're not allowed to discount if a certain school has a religious mission. You know what I mean? That's just the way that is. They can't try and change that. It's basically going to stop the woke way of looking at things if people are going to get accreditations or not from a certain university. And those institutes cannot demand of the university that they demand from their students or their teachers a certain ideological or political bent. That's what it comes down to in short. That's great because right now they're doing that without abandon, because it's not really costing them any money. They're still getting tuitions paid, they're still getting their government funding, and so there's no real incentive for these universities to stop the virtue signaling woke bullshit, and it's taking a toll on the people's education. I mean, just look at the Palestine shit. Look, I agree, Israel is on the wrong side of this, the way that they're acting. Completely unacceptable. You can't just go in and slaughter a couple 100,000 people because you want to get the couple bad guys that are there. That's unacceptable. It's what they're doing. They try to bullshit their way around that they're doing that, and I agree with the protesters that are protesting in favor of or for the innocent civilians in Palestine. Now, if those protesters are in any way about Hamas or anything, then no, I don't agree with that either. But if they're protesting for these people to have a place to live peacefully, the innocent civilians in Palestine, I'm all for it. But college is not the place for it. After school, it's the place for it. After school, you can go somewhere, you can start a march, you can protest like every other civilian. But the way these college kids are protesting is they're basically taking over violently large portions of certain universities and making it almost impossible for other students to go to class that don't want to be participating in that shit. Now, they may have gotten rid of it by now, but last time I checked, the colleges weren't really doing much to combat this problem. But there are other paying students that don't want anything to do with any of this shit, and just want to go to fucking class. And their life is being made difficult, and the schools should be standing up for their rights, not the fucking rights of the protesters that are disrupting their education, right? That's not acceptable. But they're not going to do that because they're terrified of the mob. They're terrified of the woke mob. And since there's no incentive from either government or the parents that are going to just say, look, we're not sending our kids to these fucking schools. That's it. We're revoking the tuition. That's the end of it. They're too pussy to do that too, the parents, right? So the schools aren't going to change. So there's going to have to be some regulation and some legislation. And Representative Burgess Owens from Utah is the person that put this into motion. Now, this is going to be an easy one for you guys to check on, because if you're in any other state, every Republican voted for this, right? Like all of them that were voted yes on this bill. So that's why it passed the House. You know how many Democrats voted for it? 4. 4 Democrats out of the 213 or whatever the fuck it is, how many there are. 4 voted for it. The rest all voted against it, right? That's crazy. So that shows you where the Democrats are. They do not care about your kids' college education. They care about woke virtue signaling. Still, even though they see they're about to get fucking stomped by Donald Trump if everybody goes out and votes, right? If everybody goes out to vote, they're going to get massively battered. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be battered, like horrible. I think they're going to lose the Senate. They're going to lose the fucking House. They're going to lose the presidency. It's going to be over. And then they've got the second walloping coming when Donald Trump puts in RFK Jr. and Elon Musk to start running efficient programs in this deep state craziness that we've been living under for, I don't know, decades probably, right? And that's in all Western countries, this crazy woke agenda bullshit's got to go. So these people are getting ready to get hurt, and they should know it. But that's ideology, people. That's ideology. The ideology is keeping them from seeing the truth. It's like any ideology. It blinds people to reason, reality, and truth. It's why we can't have anybody running the government or in power over other people that don't adhere to that ideology, because that's not a free society. A free society is everybody gets governed the same way, and everybody can be a part of whatever ideology or group they want to be of. And it can't be that the government, the ruling parties, take a certain ideology over the rest. That's not going to work. It's not democratic. It's not a free country. If it's like that, that's why, again, I say we don't let Tom Cruise and Scientology run America, because it would be a fucking disaster and everybody knows it. But that's because Scientology is so nutty. The funny thing is, though, the left has gotten even nuttier than Scientology. I mean, when you get to the point where you're cutting off genitals for little kids, then you're pretty much at peak insanity. That's it. There's nowhere else to go after that, right? There's nowhere else to go after that. That's it. So even Scientology running America would be a better way to go than the left at this point. But you don't want any ideology running the show, because you see it with the Democrats on this bill. All of them voted no against it. Now it's going to go to the Senate. We'll see if it passes there. But it should pass, because if the people that are you putting up there to fight for your rights, to fight for your values, and to represent your interests, stopping this woke insanity in colleges should be a bipartisan issue that should pass with flying colors, with no problem, easy peasy, right through, boom, stamp, bomb, that's it. No. But the woke agenda comes first for Democrats. So even if you are a Democrat out there and you're listening to this, which I doubt, but it's possible. There's a couple. I've got a couple. I know that a couple are Democrats, right, that listen to me. But, and you have a kid, and you think you're going to send your kid to a college that costs $60, $70, $80, $100,000 a year, then isn't it in your interest that they grade and accredit and do all their shit based on merit, based on excellence, right? So that's important for everybody, even if you are a Democrat. Wokeism and ideological bullshit shouldn't be worth more than the education that your kid gets from one of these schools that you're paying, the amount of a house to every year, right? That's crazy. So, for Democrats out there listening to this, you all should call or contact your representatives and ask why the hell is it that they voted no on a bill like this? What is their reasoning? Why they would want to support this, or to support not having this bill passed? Why? Let them give you some sort of fucking answer. Because there's got to be one that's going to come up with something. I'm going to be curious what it is, but they're going to come up with something. And now it has passed the House. The name has changed. It's no longer End Woke Higher Education Act. It's now somehow called the Accreditation for Higher Excellence something. You'll read it, because like I said, I'll put the bill down here and all the votes. I'll put them all up, and you can link right to it. It's important, people, and once you do this, look, and this is the reason why I'm doing this particular video, these particular videos now. I think it's important that even if Donald Trump gets elected, that everybody start paying attention to what their local and state representatives are doing in their area. And if those people are not acting and voting in your interests and according to the values of your state, of your community, of your county, of your city, then you need to be an active participant in getting rid of them. The process that we have been accepting for decades is what got us here in the first place. Remember that. The reason why we are now in woke, la-la land, insanity, cutting off children, little kids' dicks, fucking craziness, is because people have been over the last decades, have been completely apathetic to what's going on in the political sphere, right? And they've just ignored what the candidates they're voting for are doing. And that's made those candidates feel empowered to do ever more crazier shit because nobody's keeping them on a short leash anyway. And this is how you get to totalitarian COVID bullshit, to all this craziness, is because we as the citizens who want to live in a free society don't seem to want to participate in making sure that society remains free. And that's crazy, actually. And you know, before I started thinking about politics, of course I didn't think about it like that. I thought, fuck it, who cares? It's all corrupt shit anyway. Well, I mean, the reason why it's corrupt shit is because we've let it get there. The way the system was originally intended was for a government of the people, by the people. For the people, by the people. Anyway, you know what I mean. So, that's gone. And the politicians know it. And so they just do whatever the fuck they want. Because there's nobody checking them. And their colleagues aren't checking them because their colleagues are also doing whatever the fuck they want. And so they're like, nah, dude, I won't fuck you over. You know what I'm saying? Just don't fuck me over. We're having a fucking party up here in D.C. It's great. We can do whatever the fuck we want. We can lock these bitches down. You know what I'm saying? We can force them to take a fucking vaccine that nobody's ever heard of. Hey, they ain't gonna do shit. It's time that changes. That's why I'm doing these shows. People, it's gonna be every week. You know, I'm gonna highlight some bill, some congressman, something going on up there. And I advise you guys, I'm gonna put the links down below so you guys can check it out as well. Because it's important that everybody start doing this. It's not that much work, really. It's just your own state people that you vote for, and your own city people. That's not that many people. You got a governor, you got a congressman, a senator, you know what I mean? Just pay once in a while, take a quick look and see what they're doing. The links are right out there. They're not hiding anything. You can see their whole voting record. It's amazing shit. It's a whole rabbit hole. Just try not to get caught up in it. Just look at your representative, see what they're doing, and vote on their asses if they're doing a good job, and vote them out. If they suck, then write it. You know, there's email addresses, phone numbers to contact. These people live by what the public thinks, and if they're public, so the people from their state, the people that elected them, start calling and writing and you know, hitting them up on Twitter saying, yo, the fuck is this? They're going to change their tune. Because then they're all of a sudden going to be accountable to their voters instead of lobbyists and big money. Right now they can play both sides because they don't have to do shit for the voters. And so obviously they're going to do whatever they can for the lobbyists because the lobbyists are keeping their asses on a short leash. They're watching what they're doing because they paid their ass to do it. It's time we take control back. That's why I'm doing these videos. If you want more of these videos, you want the Insanity Report, you want the rant, if you want any of the articles that I've written or podcast recommendations that I do, you can get all that stuff delivered right to your inbox if you just subscribe to Substack. The links are down below. You can do it for free. You can also do it for $5 a month, which I would greatly appreciate, of course. And if you're watching this somewhere else, then you can follow me there. But in the end, go to it'sallaboutlogic.substack.com. That's it'sallaboutlogic.substack.com, and subscribe there, whether it's free or paid, because then you just get all the content centrally. It's the easiest way for me to reach my viewers and my subscribers, and it's better for you as well. You're not waiting for content to get sent to you by notification that may never come. You're also not sifting through social media to try to find something I may have done. You won't miss anything, and you can decide for yourself what things you want to look at and what things you don't. So that's the easiest way. It's all about logic.substack.com. Go there, subscribe. We'll see you guys next week.